Hi. I'm going to be talking about something that's a little bit different perhaps from what's gone before. We're exploring context-aware mobile learning, learning within the city amongst people such as international students or immigrants. And some of you may know about our major project that has literally very recently come to an end, called Mazel Tov. Now, I'm not going to be talking about that today. I'm talking about a sister project, a small project where we've been exploring context-aware learning within Milton Keynes, which is where the Open University is based in the UK. So, what are the new challenges and opportunities for language learning with mobile devices, and not just mobile devices, but also other technologies that might in the future be embedded in the environment in which people spend time and discover new opportunities for learning. So we know that particularly for truly mobile learners, those who migrate, those who move around a lot, second language acquisition is an important factor for their integration into new societies. And of course, for those people, classroom learning is difficult for various reasons, affordability, accessibility, and so forth. And also the desire to learn very quickly and to learn in ways that are entirely relevant to their present circumstances. What do they need to learn in terms of pragmatic knowledge, for instance? So they're going to be using smartphones and other technologies, and the city environment, so the immediate environment in which a lot of these people spend their time, and how they can make the most use of that environment. So we are running a small project called SALSA, stands for Sensors and Apps for Languages, in smart areas. Milton Keynes being designated a smart city, smart area. So language learning is not the main focus for Milton Keynes, but this project is something that we've decided to develop on the back of the larger smart city project. And we're building on the findings of Mazel Tov, where we discovered a lot about what people's preferences were and where they really needed to learn essential linguistic knowledge, build up their resources, build up their social contacts, and so on. But we're interested in how location plays a part in that learning, and how, in particular locations, we can trigger some learning, and how that can then also continue over time. And in this particular project, SALSA, we're exploring the use of beacons. Beacons, I will explain in a moment if you don't know what they are, but just to say a couple of words about location-based learning. So this is about learning from these everyday environments, the city environment, through activities such as very close observation about how language is used, interaction with the environment itself, initiating conversations in the environment, and thinking about places, specific places, as the key elements for context-based learning, but also use of time and availability of social contact in the city, both through the mobile device and, of course, face-to-face encounters. We formulated some research questions for this project, and these centered around whether the language learning practices might be changed as people move around the city and the learning is triggered in some way. What challenges are faced, particularly from the technical point of view, using apps and Bluetooth beacons, and then also starting to explore whether these learning opportunities enable participants to change their attitude, their mindset, their practices, consequently, to move more towards self-directed, self-determined learning, which is, seems to be nowadays quite a popular and valuable, seen as a valuable goal. So in order to explore this territory, we're working with a small company in Cambridge who are developing some language lessons for us. They did that within the Mazeltov project, and we're continuing to work with them. These little language lessons are proving very popular, and they are currently being designed around specific locations. So the beacons that we're using are little devices that you can place in the environment, different places, and the user's mobile app can be programmed, can be enabled to look for these beacons' transmissions. And so when you're near a beacon, the app will notify you that you're near a beacon and can trigger some content, if you like, some lessons, or any other activity that you care to design as a teacher. These beacons are already used in other areas, so there are examples, for example, such as helping the visually impaired to navigate the London Underground. There's a Tokyo navigation guide. There are examples in museums. For salsa, we use these beacons to trigger the lessons, which contain some dialogues, for instance, and some content and some quizzes and various other activities. And recently we ran a field trial. This field trial included 12 scenarios around the city. There were locations in the centre of Milton Keynes, and some of these were on buses. So a bus company runs electric buses, agreed to have these beacons placed on the bus. So 10 of these buses were driving around with the beacons, and we had some lessons that were kind of related to travel on the bus. And a kind of a treasure map of locations, so where to find the beacons, because obviously in a large city you can't just walk around and hope to encounter a beacon. That wouldn't work really. So people had to know where the beacons were, and they kind of enjoyed that actually, that kind of pursuit of different locations and what they could learn there. They completed field diaries and had some interviews. And we're analysing that data. When I submitted this we didn't have any findings at that point really, but we've got some initial findings that I can tell you about later, or just off the top of my head. The people who did participate, who were from a sort of a continuing education college, found the experience very engaging, absorbing, really made them rethink how they learn, where they learn, why they learn. So really very much triggering some sort of metacognitive processes around how to learn a language, what my needs are, how can those needs be met in particular locations. So I think that's kind of the most interesting part. And the second highlight, I think, is the use of audio. People really want to listen rather than read, as they're moving around the city, which is kind of predictable, but a very strong finding. On the other hand, listening can be difficult in noisy environments in the city. So there's a trade-off there between enabling listening and then thinking about where people will listen and learn from that listening. Thank you very much.